One word. Katrina. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Previously on Kimba TV. If, like those are week highs and those are overnight highs, right? So if, markets open, markets did already open, and we do a swing fail, then in my opinion, that's an easy short. I think it's pretty easy today. Pretty straightforward, ladies and gentlemen. If you get above settlement or value area low, then it is Bellagio. But yeah, it looks like it's just a bearish retest of value area low. So yeah, I think my short is still okay. How you guys doing? Stop the music. Cowboy Crypto says crypto Twitter is so bullish up here. I don't know how the fuck I don't know how that even happens. This is like bearish. Yeah. I mean, if you get above value area low and settlement, but when it pixel perfect bearish retest value area low and settlement like that, it's probably not a bullish thing. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially like when you, this is on purpose, y'all. They're not going to go and grab that, in my opinion. So, that's why we went short yesterday. We eventually had to concede to the short. But yeah, anytime I see it like that, I've gotten baited so many times. Like if they don't do it on the third one, it's not happening. So yeah, nothing has really changed. Can we give it up for identifying that level as TP1 down there yesterday for single prints? So single print is still TP1, TP2. You've got a little bit of a single print here on CME right there. So could be an interesting level. All right. But yeah, I mean, I think my short is still good. So shout outs to you if you took the value area low or settlement short. I think that's the easier play for today. Monday or Tuesday grab? No, more like middle of February type of shit. Yeah, I would like the first half of February to be bearish. Get us down into, 97, 96s, whatever, down here. Maybe even lower, like 92, 93. Let's see. Yeah, if it can, would you take a long if you can get above settlement? Sure. Yeah. I always try to be objective. I really try not like my own positions or biases get in the way. The inflection point for today is clearly the value. And, do you guys see the difference between how I use settlement when settlement is, for example, inside versus when it's outside of value? It's usually a bullish retest or a bearish retest when it's outside of value, right? So yeah, pixel perfect value area low retest, settlement bearish retest. And for me, not only would it be really nice to make a lower low, but spending time in the gap during RTH hours is bearish, right? And then single print right there. So yeah, TP1 I think is still this blue line. TP2 is still there too, but this TP2 I might move it down a little bit further for the CME single print right there. All right, how you guys doing? Candlesticks says, I can't understand how you plot your value area high and value area low. I'll probably nerd out and help you guys go over it. There's a couple of highlights, especially I think last week or this week, where I showed you guys how to do it. It's basically candlestick previous RTH session. Okay, value levels. So do you know how to find previous day value area low and value area high? You start with UTC, right? And you go from 0000 to 2359.59, right? So that gives you the previous day. And then you can use fixed range volume profile. So for example, if this was 0000 and if this was the end of the day, going like this, that's your previous day value area low, value area high. Right? That's how you get stuff like this, for example, like even on EXO, right? Like that level that you were coming up into is the previous day value area low. Okay? What you want to do is do the fixed range volume profile, okay, for the RTH session. So if the daily is the 0000 to 2359.59, what is the time slot on RTH? All right, so you want to be able to pull your fixed range volume profile from the start of the RTH until the end of RTH. And then from there, it's just a matter of tick size and settings. All right, but T value area high and T value area low is session based value area high and value area low. So it really just is a matter of how are you able to use fixed range volume profile. And then the rest is just up to nerding out on fixed range volume profile so you know when you adjust certain tick sizes. So it's a combination of experience but also knowledge. This is why you got to nerd out. What's your tick size? What's your row size? All right. Focacino says, isn't settlement at 104? You can't get these things wrong, Focacino. Oh, wow, that's weird. Mine is different for QuantCast. Yeah, mine is actually different. I wonder if it's because it's the monthly close. Yeah, but mine is actually different. Mine is actually 105,735 on QuantCast. Yeah, I think it's because you can't, for the last day, you have to cycle through all of the contracts. I think for that one, it's already switched over. Yeah, use the QuantCast one. I don't think that's right. Yeah, the correct one is 105,735. You have the same 105,735? Yeah. Yeah, and again, that is like the difference between just Googling Bitcoin CME settlement and also knowing that today is the last day. It might be including February. So it's always one of those things where like you gotta nerd out and really know the academic stuff. You can't just like do the bare minimum and try to copy, because this is like how you find out, oh fuck, I should have nerded out. Yep, but yeah, the correct settlement is 105,735 for today. Alrighty, Chaplin, what's going on, Chappie? Chaplin, I was hollering at you yesterday, my guy. Chaplin. Do you remember the last thing that we talked about, Chaplin? And I told you, hey man, don't sleep on that bearish retest. What do you think? And then even like stuff like this, right? Oh fuck. Even stuff like this, right? Like this is the floor, right? Remember how we drew the floor? Chaplin says, yep, I saw that before I sleep. I didn't chase it. That's okay. That's okay. I mean, even right now, Chaplin, the bearish retest of value area low and settlement, like that's probably the play of the day. You know, this is the pivot point. So above, long. Okay, invalidation is probably the VWAP. Okay, below, it's a short. Yeah, and you see how there's always tons of different setups. So yesterday was actually like fucking alpha as fuck in my opinion, because we went over the pros and cons and anticipated the failed auction here. So we had our first like identification of this range and structure, right? So we narrated the whole, like, I'm not going to take the blank, but I'm going to take the blank. Shout outs to this play. Shout outs to starting to see this play. And I think that's the sort of thing that got you, right, Chaplin? So anticipating that. Even if you got stopped out on there, okay, if this really is the play, then instead of, and here's the thing, Chaplin, if I wasn't in a short already, I wouldn't take that anyways, right? I'm taking this drop. And so we narrated that together. You had that opportunity as well. So, and again, like you would have needed to want to short. Your subconscious bias is always going to oops. There you go. And then this is like pretty straightforward. You nuke through, you bounce off of 886. This is your pivot point. You clearly lost it. So you had a short opportunity here live yesterday. You had a short opportunity here yesterday. You had a short opportunity here yesterday. And even when I broke down how you want to get the bearish retest, you had a short opportunity here. You had a short opportunity here. You had a short opportunity here. Yeah, and then, you know, what you want is, what we talked about, you want to lose structure there. Okay, and then that's always been TP1. That's your single prints. Yeah, so there's always another trade. You know what I mean? And I said this yesterday in the very beginning, but regardless of whether your entry is here, 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 or here, does it really fucking matter if we're aiming for down here? You know, so it all starts with one, understanding that you want to be in a short and you're bearish. And it starts with levels identified, gap, settlement, you know, levels up here, RTH gap, all that stuff. And then anticipating like where your target is. And so you understand what the comprehensive risk reward is. So if you're shorting down to here, it really shouldn't matter. Your invalidation is always going to be the high. So you could have an excellent 7.5 short. You could have my 618 golden pocket. You could take the 886 618, or you could take the whole bearish retest. Yeah, but if you were bullish or if you weren't looking for a short, I'm never going to be able to convince you, you know? You're always going to find an excuse to not take it or pussyfoot it or wait too long. So it all starts with your own organic thoughts, you know? Chaplin says, I do believe we got one more leg before big nuke. It probably shouldn't. Yeah, so first things first, if it gets above settlement, it's bullish for me. And if we clean those highs, then we're going to go grab RTH all-time high. In my experience, and make sure you rewind if you got here late, okay? Make sure you rewind if you got here late. But I don't know if you've noticed this, but if they don't grab it on the third one, they're saving it. This is on purpose, I think. They're not going to grab that now. If they grab that, I think they grab and complete the RTH imbalance as well. It's too close. So, I said it yesterday, and which is one of the reasons why I said we'll go ahead and switch short, because I don't think we were going to grab that anymore. Yeah, so I don't think, I think the short, like the trade for today is the settlement short. Probably like a point of control or value area high invalidation. And I think we start grab the single prints and the shit downstairs. So my first TP hasn't changed. It would be that level, and then that's TP2. But really the TP2 should be this guy. That single print. Correct that imbalance at a minimum. All right. So yeah, I think my short is good. You know, we held each other's hand the whole way through. You know, shout outs to people that have the 7-5 short. Shout out Coke Zero. I know a bunch of you guys. Shout outs to people that got stopped out there. That's okay. Shout outs to the 886-618 mathers. All right. And like I said last night, even if you wanted a pussyfoot on that 618-886, you still got a bearish retest. And there you go. All right, and then it's just simple pattern recognition. You know, you have value area low, value area high. Your settlement is outside, so you're looking for a bearish retest. Kimba, gun to your head. Are you bullish or bearish? Are you fucking kidding me? Bearish. Yeah, dude, I'm keeping it dead ass simple, bro. Below settlement, I'm bearish. Above settlement, I'm bullish. You know, and have you guys ever heard me say, first 30-minute candle close, let's go short? I mean, I'm gonna just wait for 30-minute, like I fucking drew this line. I mean, doesn't this line tell you everything? This is what I would say. If you can spend every single time that it looks like you could get back above settlement, okay, with like a hidden bull div, or it looks like VWAP is holding, I will go ahead and flip long on settlement, okay? When it looks shitty, I'm short at settlement, okay? And we're all looking at the same shit that we're looking at. Like, shout outs to the Binance top long. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay, we got him. All right, I don't know what the fuck S&P is doing. Okay, so I told you guys my plan and how I'm going to look at the thing. You know, you got to execute the way that you got to execute, though. Everything that we talked about, like how often do you get to see a big swing fail pattern liquidity grab on a Friday? You know, like, do you guys remember like the last couple Fridays or Thursdays when we were waiting for a swing fail and it never came? I do, because I missed my fucking TP2, which was a big one, by like $200, and it was ridiculous. And I pissed away like 45% of unrealized. You know, so I would say that cleaning that on a Friday is lower probability. I doubt they even do it on Monday. Could it still happen? Yes. All right. So I'll be ready. So for that reason, okay, I'm going to have to go with, since the settlement is outside of value, if it starts to build value below settlement, below the previous value range, then I'm going to have to go with bearish. If it continues to hold and build value in previous value, I'm going to lean towards bullish. So I'm going to start with that. And that will always be my guidance. Now, how does that correlate into execution? Well, we already drew it and talked about it. So hopefully you've got something like this. And you're going to be looking for something like this. Okay? And I feel like whether you know how I would play it, or if you've seen it yourself the last couple of days, it's a pop quiz once again. All right? So I think it's exciting. I think 99.999% of you guys know how I would do it and why. You know, I'm not in that short. You know, fuck. You know, I wish, but I'm never going to take that 7.5 short because the highs are like that. You know, it just doesn't. Why would I short a bad high? That doesn't make sense to me. Or like an unfinished or a weak high. So I would never do that. But whether you want to take the bearish so if you're somebody that's shorting, your invalidation for a short at this point is that high, regardless of where you're going to enter. Whether you're taking the bearish retest of the VWAP, whether you're taking the bearish retest of the point of control of value, whether you're taking the bearish retest of the value area low or the bearish retest of the settlement. Your invalidation for the short is that, that swing. If you're looking for the long, your invalidation is basically, has always been that low. I mean, in between, everybody should be getting stopped out in tiny profit or break even. But like, if you're talking about just like conceptually, like the confirmation and invalidation, because we're all looking at that structure, right? So I think it's at least everybody, like whether you're longing or shorting, you have a clear invalidation. So I'm rooting for y'all. Let's see who the fuck actually ends up winning, huh? Obvious for one to assume that if you have a bullish narrative, you're gonna build value above the price value of yesterday. I would just feel like everybody can agree that if you're starting to spend time above or inside yesterday's value range, then that's holding on to or building momentum bullishly. If you're spending time below or your price action is below yesterday's price action value range, then your momentum is bearish. So I'm just gonna go with that and just see how much time we spend above or below that settlement. And the invalidation is gonna be the same no matter where we enter anyways. So sounds good? You guys okay? Ideally, like on a day like today, on a Friday, you already have a long or a short. And if you're wrong, you get stopped out. If you're right, you juice the fuck up. And you're not really trying to get in on a Friday. But, you know, to each their own. Any questions? With Enoch says, why wouldn't you have shorted that swing? I could have entered from point of control, but it's because the high is weak. Like to short, you know how long I've been waiting for this to get cleaned, my boy? That's the short that I've been waiting for. Yeah, but if you wanted to short like the 7.5 to 0.5 or more sensibly scalp the value area high, value area low rotation, like this is rotate. So that's always going to be easy, bing bong ding dong in my opinion. But you could have. I don't scalp really. I am going to start scalping, but yeah, like if we wanted to scalp, that would have been. Yeah, but for the most part, brother, when the highs are that shitty and unfinished, I'm waiting for it to get cleaned because that's the easier. I'll gladly miss all of these shorts. I rather make sure that if this is the short opportunity that I do that the right way. And we don't know if that's a short either. It could just go to all-time high too. You see how we will have like 30, 60 minutes of like serious mathematical discussions, and then it's like, 2 hours of juice, and then, back to reality. How we doing? You guys know what TPs I've gotten hit so far and which ones I'm looking at still, yes? Is it too late to short? Yeah. Yeah, if these fuckers weren't already in, then I would say no, but... I mean, I'm still waiting for that naked point of control to get to, I'm waiting for this, okay? But like, why you didn't take any of this? The problem about shorting now is you're gonna have to break the cardinal rule about not putting stop loss in single prints. So even if you have bearish sentiment, and I still think it could go a lot lower, okay? Like, cause I want down here, I'm level to level, right? So I've drawn this arrow many, many times, but your stop loss is going to be in the single print. So if you're okay with that, I've been talking about how the first place that I might think about longing would be this single print. So it would be funny if I entered long here and you entered short here, right? So hopefully that's not what happens. But yeah, that's my kind of like get that nasty Bugatti type of shit, you know? Yeah, and then of course I would love that low to get swept, which is the trade. If you remember, do you guys remember like before we had this price action, we had the short, you know, like from here, the gap play, or we had the long for this. Do you guys remember this? So I don't know. Why the fuck didn't you get in earlier, my guy? I can't tell it. But you should know what my entry is roughly, and you know what my TPs are. We already talked about it. So untapped naked point of control coming in. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of like bearish retest over the weekend. So you know, as S&P is doing its thing, and you know, remember that's our next Bugama. So you still have 90 plus 100 minutes of U.S. market open left. So you really want to make sure S&P is done dumping, yeah? Yeah, but here is ES. And do you remember our conversation about ES? So this is ES. I don't know if you were here for it, but I said, yo, wait until that gets zapped. So if this zap happens today, Bitcoin is going with. Do you remember when we were talking about this? Like bulls can't lose that, otherwise it's going to be a real big stop loss hunt. Everybody going to freak out. Everybody's going to do the right thing and manage risk and get the fuck out. That's what's going to happen. So that's S&P for you, my guy. So pretty cool stuff. Don't get you know, too caught up in like the weekend thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to play, I'm always gonna root for you guys. But I need everybody's best again on Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Can I count on that? Hands up if I can count on your very best. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But right from the get-go, start of the stream, and even if you can't show up on time, like you're gonna rewind and get caught up. You're not gonna miss anything type of shit. You guys excited? You guys can count on my best. I'll do my very best as well. How many of you guys are starting to like realize that you got to be really agile and quick in this game? You know, whether you're a lion cub and you're trying to do the right thing, or you're a veteran and an OG and you're relying on what has happened before. What do you think about this whole like, hey, let's just simplify this bitch, figure out a level where we can say, look, time spent above or below, you know, volume created above or below this line. And we're going to just mark this bitch and we're going to say, hey, above this, Bellagio, and below this, Halle Berry. You know, does it force you to be more patient? 100%. During the bing bong ding dong of the bullish deviation and the bearish deviation of that said level, right? Because like today, it bing bonged everybody before it actually made the final move, right? So the move down pre-market, this is settlement. So this move down, almost identical in length to that move up. Okay, but in the end, it bing bonged, it ding donged, trapped, baited, liquidated. And in the end, here we go. Are we actually going to go up, or are we actually going to go down? Yeah. And, you know, some of you guys, how many of you guys were paying attention and saw the beauty of like failed auctions? Whether it was like on the smaller time frame here with like identifying that as the breaking point, right? What about this as the breaking point? So you had this, right? And in these failed auctions, you saw me when I don't play it, when I do play it, how I play it, right? So that was juice. Holy shit, I feel like that was just so many failed auctions. And then in the end, you had that one right there, that one right here, and then this one right here. And none of these caught us off guard, right? You guys remember, like on this one, we were aware of it when this was the breaking point and we were looking at this. Coke Zero, and shout out to motherfuckers that took that 7.5. Brilliant. Brilliant. You know, shout outs to the people that were paying attention to how I like to play it, right? Shout outs to people that got to play it here, right? And shout outs to people that got to play it here. I mean, how fucking caught up are you, my boy? I think, you know, the levels that we identified, beyond that single print, brother, I would think that the lows are going to get cleaned, okay? Now, do I think that it's going to do it over the weekend? Would it even be valid if it did it without CME? No, right? So we talked about how this single print right here that it just grabbed pixel perfect could be kind of like the resting point for the weekend. All right, you've got single prints up there. Don't be surprised to just completely stop out all the people that are too greedy to realize profits on the short. You know, so but assuming that you're gonna disregard like weekend shit, it's this. You know, we want that 97 to get cleaned. I just talked about how it already got tapped. I don't think you want a long 97 anymore. I think 94, 92 looks like a lot better. Okay, but a lot of this also is going to be correlated with traditional markets, okay? We were already thinking about, you can already tell, like I was already kind of bearish because I was already thinking about a swing fail pattern on SFP. What did it end up doing? It actually closed the whole gap, which is bearish, right? It would be different if they had left the gap because then we would be looking to long down there to clean that. Now it's like it's a fucked up poor high, but there's no imbalances. Okay? And what it did is it failed auction on the gap. Okay? So step one, how is it interacting at the gap? Well, we didn't get a partial, what I wanted, a no complete fill SFP, okay? We didn't get that. We actually completely closed the imbalance. Okay, fine. But what did it end up doing though? It failed auctioned off of the range of the gap. And then, so what you're thinking is it's gonna go to the other side. Just like how we were talking about with Bitcoin on value area high, value area low. Bulls needed to hold that. Okay, it lost it. Not that big of a deal. We've got one more bullish trend line that we're going to try to hold. Bulls lost that. So bearish, bearish, bearish is ES on the 30-minute and on like the smaller time frame. Alrighty. So you've got a little bit of work to do. It'll start with when ETH and S&P futures starts to open up on Sunday night. Is it going to anticipate a gap? Meaning is pre-market action so bullish that it's not even waiting for RTH CME to open back up? Okay, so go with the gap. And I think getting back in above or this line is going to immediately mean we're going to clean those. Okay, and then cleaning that would kind of be really similar to Bitcoin cleaning all of this. Okay, so that's kind of like the way that I would look at it, man. All right. Mandela says plus month end profit taking, I guess. Not like they need super juicy quarterly window dressing or anything. For sure. Yeah. But, you know, you can see all the single prints up there. And I'm pretty sure I said this more than once. But however way you remember saying it, I think the way that I said it is I wouldn't think about longing, you know, at least until this single print. And I explained how there's going to be, you know, shorts TPing a little bit, rightfully so. And you might be able to get a little bit of a dead cat bounce. I think that's what I said or how I said it. But But anyways, so no surprises, you know. Do you, how many people, maybe young lion cubs, in shorts right now? I'm going to just tell you right now, if you haven't shaved at least 33% and you can't stomach it going back up another $1,800, then I don't know what you're doing. So if you're a lion cub and you're in a short, you gotta, you probably should be shaving at least 20%. All right. But it's up to you at the end of the day, okay? You know. What the fuck, Kimba? You told me to shave 20%, you fucking idiot. Don't. If you're gonna do that, then just don't even listen to me. All right. Steve says, my dumbass shaved 100%. That's okay, Steve. That would be the most ultra conservative thing to do, Steve. Okay? You never have to close the whole thing, Steve. All right? So always remember that, right? But I would I'll take you over somebody that hasn't shaved at all. Okay? All right? I'll take your alopecia looking ass, you know, over, you know, Harry McGruff. You feel me? Okay? Did that make sense? Yeah. Good shit, Steve. If you were playing CME, you would have to close. So, unless you want to gamble on a weekend gap. Yeah. But I think this is just the beginning. I think we're going to end up with like 2 weeks of dumping, Steve. Yeah. So, I think, you know, that I think you've been here when I was explaining I'm a big level to level guy, right? So I would be looking at that next, and then, you know, maybe 94, 92, and then, you know, but yeah, even if this pops up, I would be like, that's coming next week, you know? Yeah. Not financial advice, obviously, and Steve, I know you're a little bit of a lion cub, so it's always the data is gonna matter, but just as of right now, any sort of move back up, I'm probably thinking about shorting more often than not, and I'm not really trying to there's always a trade to be had, but you got to figure out which bias you want to go with, you know? If you get into like a really nice long here, you're going to, unless you're, you know, really, really self-aware, but you may be so focused on maximizing that juicy ass long, and you're going to start hoping that the bearish confirmations that you were looking for actually won't happen, you know? And so you want to always be as objective as possible. And so I think it's better to just kind of commit to I'm looking for a long every time it pulls back, or I'm looking for a short every time it pumps. And you kind of stick to it. That's one of the ways where you really don't get got on like revenge trading too. And obviously you could do what we did all week and just have like simple inflection points every day. So let's go. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to slowly start wrapping it up. You got about 6 minutes until the 30-minute candle close. What did you guys think about today? Let's go. Been here all time when I can, though, in a long from Monday at 100K. Gotcha. Be careful. That's probably coming to get stopped out. So maybe if you get a weekend pump, you may want to start shaving just a little bit. I do think that we're going to break 100 next week. Or you just like through, I think the first couple of weeks or first couple days of February or whatever, we're going to have a little bit of a pullback. I'm not talking about like the 85 nuke, you know, but I think for sure like 97, 94, 92 is in play, you know, in February. So, yeah, just be careful, okay? Yeah, but there's a reason, and I don't know if you were here in the morning, brother, but I was talking about how like that high, they leaving that shit on purpose. I don't know if you heard that part. So if that really is going to be the case, it's going to go real low before that bitch gets swept. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. 97, 96, holding that would be really bullish. You know, I think 94, 93 is a little bit more normal bullish. Okay, and then obviously like 91, 92, I don't even know if we would want to long that, you know, maybe 92, but 91 I feel like is a little bit too low. We might as well just wait for that bitch to get swept. So lots of opportunities, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, start thinking about some higher time frame stuff that you might want to get into and prepare and plan. I had an amazing fucking day, chat. I hope you guys did too. You know. Kobo, you good, my guy? Shout outs to you, Kobo. Great questions today. Latisse, what about you? Any last minute? Cowboy Crypto, what about you? Anybody looking for a trade? I feel like it's the worst time to provide an answer, you know, Friday before the weekend, Macaulay starts, but I would just, you know, identify levels. All right, y'all. Hey, Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss. Sato, where you at, Sato? I got you.